Hi, Vince Oldre, Certified Financial Planner, and I want to talk to you about the 4 things you need to think about before retiring. Now, these are a lot of things that people have questions about when they're about to retire, so I want to make sure you think long and hard about these 4 issues. Number 1 is healthcare. What should you do about healthcare in retirement? Well, number 1, we realize it's one of the leading causes of inflation, but we also know it can be pretty expensive, especially if you're going to retire before age 65. And that's because you won't have Medicare if you're going to retire before age 65. So what can you do? Well, number 1, you can go on Cobra, which is pretty expensive because you're paying premiums for yourself, but also the premiums that your company was paying for. Number 2, the other option is if you're married, you could go on your spouse's insurance. And number 3 is you can go onto a private insurance. Now, we all know that private insurance can be more expensive and it might not be as easily to get because you won't get the same types of benefits that you might get with your company plan. And that's why a lot of you will go on your Cobra insurance. And obviously, if you can go on your spouse's insurance, that would be the best thing. Now, besides healthcare, we also have to think about taxes. Now, taxes will equate to almost 1/3 of your income when you're in retirement. And it's not just your federal and your state income taxes, it's also going to be your property taxes and so forth. And with the recent tax changes, what we know is that the property taxes or the state income taxes that you used to be able to write off, you won't be able to use that as much. So taxes are going to be a significant part in retirement, and if you're not calculating your taxes, that could hinder what your overall retirement picture might look like. The third thing that you need to think about is whether or not you're going to move. So what does your home look like? If you are planning on downsizing or leaving, you also have to think about what your income looks like. A lot of us don't realize that we need the income to apply for another mortgage. Now, if you're going to have a mortgage while you are retired, you need to think about how are you going to apply for it and what the rules are around applying for a mortgage. And a lot of times, it all revolves around income. And they look more at your guaranteed income sources like Social Security, pensions, and making sure you've had income coming from your investments for a longer period of time. So before you jump into retirement, you want to think about whether or not you're going to move. Now, the 4th thing you want to think about is the market. Market is at all-time highs right now. So how are you allocated? Are you diversified? Are you not diversified? Are you a passive investor? Are you actively managing a portfolio? All these things need to be taken into consideration. You are accumulating your assets. Now, accumulating your assets is much different than distributing your assets. While you're accumulating your assets, you don't have to worry about the fluctuations in the market as much because you're accumulating the assets and the average will come out over time. But if you're taking assets out, that means you are selling at highs and lows. And when you're accumulating, you don't have to worry about selling at highs and lows. So make sure that you have a plan for your income distribution. So those are the 4 things that you need to think about before retirement. If you have any other questions around retirement planning, please give us a call or send us an email and we'll make sure to answer your question. Thank you.